sometimes certain forms of equations are better to work with than others. So the purpose of this video is to show how we can convert from one form to another. And it's because some forms have certain quick characteristics that we like to look at, whereas others you need to do a little more work to see what you want to look for, such as the vertex or x-intercepts or y-intercept. So we're going to go over how to convert from one form to another. So converting to standard form is probably the quickest and easiest, because standard form is just everything simplified out. In other words, you're just simplifying the expression, getting rid of all parentheses, multiplying it all out, and it'll end up looking like the standard form. So for example, if we are in a vertex form, all you would do is you would multiply those parentheses out. So the x plus 8, make sure you split that up. You'd FOIL that out to get the x squared plus 16x plus 64. Keeping order of operations, you then multiply the 2. You distribute that 2 to everything in the parentheses. And then you just combine the 128 and the 6. And you'd end up with your standard form quadratic. Likewise, if we have intercept form, it's the same thing. It's the same process whenever you're converting to standard form. Just multiply everything out. Just make sure you follow order of operations. So here, I would just FOIL out the x plus 5, x minus 2. Keep that group in parentheses, and then distribute the negative to everything inside the parentheses. And now you have your standard form quadratic. So again, standard form, simplify the expression. Okay, if we want to convert to intercept form, the big thing about intercept form is that what you need are the x-intercepts. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're either going to manipulate the equation into this form, just like with standard form, we did a manipulation. For intercept form, we're either going to manipulate it to this form, which is factored form, or we're going to solve for the x-intercepts and plug them into this form. So if we start with a standard form, all right, that's what we're starting with. What we have, oops, sorry. I'm just going to factor this standard form, because then it automatically jumps into intercept form. All right, so to factor this, GCF first. There's a GCF of 3. So take the 3 out. That turns into 3x squared minus 4x plus 3. And then factor that trinomial into x minus 1, x minus 3. Now it is an intercept form. And what's nice is now we can quickly tell what the x-intercepts are. The x-intercepts are 1 and 3. Remember, you do the opposite of what they are. So the x-intercepts are 1 and 3. That's a really quick way of doing that. If we're given a vertex form and we want intercept form, we can't factor this. So what we're going to have to do is find the x-intercepts. So x-intercepts are when y equals 0. Oops, sorry, y equals 0. That's how we find the x-intercepts. So we set y equal to 0, and we're going to solve this equation. So this is a basic equation because there's only one x. So we would add 8 over first. Then we would divide by 2. Then we would square root both sides in order to eliminate the square. Then we would subtract 8. And so it's 2 minus 8 and negative 2 minus 8, which is why we have the 2 answers. And then last but not least, we would write those in intercept form. And again, it's always the opposite of what's in here. So if the x-intercepts are negative 6 and negative 10, in the equation, it is plus 6 and plus 10. So when in doubt, if you need intercept form, just solve for the x-intercepts, plug 0 in for y, find x, and then plug those into the equation. Now, the 2, I should have mentioned that. The 2 is the a value, and we knew it was 2 because it was 2 to begin with. So whatever a is to start with, it's the same a in the end. You never have to calculate a. It's always given. All right, last but not least, convert to vertex form. For vertex form, we're just going to find the vertex. So to find the vertex of a standard form, I'm going to write this down real quick. Vertex form looks like this. We're going to have vertex is the HK. So if we start with standard form, to find the vertex, that is negative b over 2a. That's where the x is. So the vertex is negative 12 over 2 times 3 is 2. Then if I want the y value of the vertex, I'll plug 2 into the original equation, and that will give us 3. So then the vertex is located at 2, negative 3. And we can then plug that into our vertex form. Again, we do the opposite inside, and the minus 3 on the outside. And a is still 3 because it was 3 to begin with. You don't have to calculate that. All right, so we just kind of brute forced, found the vertex, plugged it into vertex form. All right, it'd be the same deal for intercept form. All right, if you're given the intercept form equation, you would say, here are the x-intercepts at negative 5 and positive 2. Again, you do the opposite of what's inside the parentheses. And then you just know that the x of the vertex is in the middle of the x-intercepts. So negative 1.5 is directly between negative 5 and 2. And then to get the y, you plug the x back into the equation, and you solve for y. So y, the vertex would be 12.5, and now it's just like the standard form. The vertex is here, so we plug that in to vertex form, the opposite of the x. There's the y, and the a value is just a negative 1 because that's what it was to begin with. So when you're converting to a form, depending on which form you're going to, you just find the pieces that you need and then plug them into the form. Going to standard form again, though, that's a quick one because all you do is multiply everything together and it automatically becomes standard form.